fraud and kickback allegations swirling, a federal court showdown tomorrow could determine the fate of Minnesota's largest addiction treatment provider. Here's AJ Legault with the latest developments in his Recovery Inc. investigation.
In a week of sub-zero temps, the showdown between New Way and the Minnesota Department of Human Services is hitting the boiling point, citing credible allegations of fraud and ongoing state and federal investigations. DHS plans to suspend New Way's Medicaid funding for outpatient treatment effective this Friday. In response, New Way sued the state in federal court, claiming they've been given an unconstitutional death penalty. In court filings, the Minnesota Attorney General's office defends the state's right to protect public funds, and as evidence of alleged fraudulent billing practices under investigation, points to the findings of Kara Levin's investigation. Here's what we exposed. Treatment sessions are billed to Medicaid by the hour. The rules state that in order to bill for that hour, the session must go past the midpoint. New Way exploited that midpoint rule, scheduling their treatment sessions in 35-minute blocks. So for 35 minutes of treatment, taxpayers were charged for a full hour. But then, records show New Way also double billed. Here's how. From 8 to 8:35, they'd bill for an hour. Then at 8:45, they'd start billing for another hour, double billing for the overlapping 15 minutes. That means every 4 hours of treatment, they billed for 5 hours, inflating their billing by 25%. The Attorney General's office now writes New Way twists that minimum requirement into a purported blanket approval of its systematic practice of wringing 2 billable hours out of 70 actual minutes of treatment time, and unconvincingly attempts to justify its practice by arguing that a DHS policy did not specifically tell it not to do that. New Way, in court filings and in an interview with their attorney David Glazer, defends their billing.
They're not billing improperly.
I'll be blunt.
Yeah.
Billing for 5 hours for 4 hours of work sounds an awful lot like fraud.
But they're not billing 5 hours for 4 hours work. What they're doing is billing in a way that's consistent with the instruction that DHS gave.
New Way's well-publicized practice of paying for clients' sober housing, for which they've received accolades, also has state and federal investigators leveling allegations of kickbacks. In an emergency hearing on Thursday, New Way will ask a judge for an order of protection barring DHS from withholding payment until the outcome of their legal battle is decided.
Caught in the middle of all this, more than 1,000 people across the state who get their addiction treatment at New Way, and many of those also have their sober housing paid for by New Way. We'll be covering the Thursday hearing. For Kara Levin Investigates, I'm AJ Legault.